The General Practice Demand and Capacity Optimisation tool is an automated analytics online product that will help a practice better understand how they can match their capacity to current patient demand, while at the same time it will also hit the QOF indicators for demand and capacity optimisation.
With the ever-challenging rise in demand and knowing that majority of the practices have received huge drop in their patient satisfaction over the last year or so, allowing and enabling practices to be able to manage their demand going forward to ensure that irrespective of whichever path a patient chooses to use, they're able to receive a fair and equitable service is really important. As a result, a practice needs to be able to understand their current demand needs to be able to develop actionable plans to enable them to help resolve some of those issues.
So we chose to use the tool because it was one of the work streams that we were doing with our demand and capacity analysis for the practice.
We were quite naive about data and actually what that meant.
We just had anecdotal evidence, but we weren't able to really pull all of that together, and we knew we needed some external help.
I think like many practices across the country, we were one of them that really struggled in actually understanding and conceptualising how data can be used in primary care. I think what this tool enables practices to do is actually realise their data and use that data in a much more meaningful way.
To get that data into a distilled report and to identify the opportunities, to identify the themes, to analyse it to the extent that the tool has, I don't think we, as a relatively large organisation, have the expertise or knowledge to do that. And I would suspect that that's the case for the vast majority of primary care providers within the UK.
The process of collecting data was quite fun. It was nice to get everyone else involved. Every member of the team was told about the process, and it actually brought the entire practice together. What
the tool enabled us to do is actually really crunch down on the information that was pivotal for our organisation in terms of the information which unfortunately wouldn't have been depicted from our IT platform.
The pack was presented in a way that was really useful. So there was summary pages to start with, and then with each area it went into a lot more detail, and we could then try to get the granularity that we needed from each part of the analysis.
It would be really difficult for any organisation in primary care to obtain data that we got from this tool.
What the data pack told us after we'd been through the process was that there were a number of areas where we were actually booking patients in not necessarily with the most appropriate clinician.
The other issue we discovered from the pack was a good proportion of our appointments that are used on the day were not urgent, could have waited.
So the data that we received from the pack was quite distinct from our main clinical systems.
The clinical system captures consultations, it captures the actual activity, but not the reason for the activity, not the clinician's opinion on what it was that the patient actually came in and how that compares with the information that was presented by the patient to the care navigator originally.
Putting the information together was something that we couldn't do from within our existing clinical system, so the pack was very helpful in having that analysis on top of the raw data that we would get.
So the data pack and tool was instrumental in helping us understand information that we'd not had before.
So the information in the pack has helped us immensely going forward.
We couldn't have got the information that was in the pack from the clinical system without using the audit tool.
It's a huge report and it's harvested a lot of data. Each time I read it, I glean other nuggets that perhaps I haven't come across previously.
Some of the opportunities that it's presented with regards to demand failure, so where opportunities have been missed and patients are presented on multiple occasions and then ultimately have the right care with the right person we've been able to analyse that and go back and try to look at ways to streamline our processes within the practice.
Previously, we had a team of staff, which was actually 50 staff, who were employed as receptionists. We went into consultation with our staff, converted that role and made that role redundant. The role was made redundant, not the staff members. We realised that we needed to move towards care navigation.
Since this work, we've now started to become more proactive in communicating results. So we're using technologies such as text messaging to be more proactive to communicate test results to patients.
And make sure that patients get seen by the right person at the earliest opportunity, and saving the practice's time but also saving the patient's time.
So it gave us a lot of evidence supported through a very, very large and structured audit that we could then use to develop and implement change in the way that our appointment system is used.
The analysis from that has led to redesigning our appointment system, so there's a greater proportion of appointments that have been booked in advance at various stages, which then reduces the pressure on urgent care.
The data that we had in the pack was very useful in helping us making the decisions, because it actually came from the clinicians themselves.
We now have a data pack that is a great reference resource for the organisation that we've used extensively since it was produced, and we continue to use it.
Our team now refer back to the pack regularly, particularly within our strategy meetings.
So I would encourage all practices to take up offer of this tool to enable them to kind of unleash that information that will help them provide and shape services going forward.
My advice to any practice considering the tool going forwards would be absolutely take it on board. It's very beneficial, well worthwhile investing your time.
In terms of any organisation that at the moment is reflecting on whether to use the tool, I would definitely encourage organisations to go for it.
It gives very rich data with statistics, which are real data that we can then refer back to, and we can utilise that as the data that we use as the benchmark to measure our performance improvements.
It's not just about collecting the data, it's about analysing it and producing it in a way that organisations can then use.